Christian Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents When Grief Comes Home, a gentle guide for living through loss while supporting your child, by Erin Lee Nelson and Colleen E. Montague, LMFT. Narrated by Faye. A Welcoming. I, Erin, first entered the grief world on June 20th, 1995, when a 3 a.m. phone call pushed me into a life I never imagined. The kids and I were visiting my in-laws in Monterey, California, a couple of hours from our home, while my husband Tyler was fishing in Alaska with his friends. My 5-year-old daughter Cassie, asleep in my bed, wrapped herself around me as I picked up the phone. Her grip tightened as I listened to my brother-in-law tell Tyler's parents and me that Tyler's plane had collided with another small plane on the way back to the lodge after fishing. There were no survivors. I packed our bags and whispered, "No, no, no," as I pulled my sleeping 3-year-old Cody out of bed, zipped his jacket over his footy pajamas, and buckled him into his car seat. While I drove home, I looked over the Monterey Valley farmland as the sun rose, and my terror mixed with a warm sense of peace. I wondered, why are people going to work as if nothing happened? I thought tragic phone calls in the middle of the night only happened to other people. But grief had come home. A few months later, my mom, who lived with bipolar disorder, suffered her 3rd major depressive episode. She overdosed in an attempt to end her life, and soon after she died. My 15-year-old sister Kelly came to live with the kids and me. The trauma of our mother's suicide deepened our fragility. My inner light grew dim. I moved through my days in a fog. Sometimes I had to remind myself to be alive, even though I felt dead inside. Turn your head, listen, nod, speak words back to the child asking you a question. At the same time, I was enchanted by the beauty of everyday mercies. Cassie's face when she was sleeping, Cody's little hands, the kindness of our neighbors. And breath by breath, anchored in the support of others and by divine mercy, my light began to reemerge. Finding a solid place to stand in my new life took time. I found ways to heal. Slowly, I awakened to the mystery and paradox of post-traumatic growth. What had crushed me was expanding my soul, making room for beauty and life. Breaths turned into days, then months, and then years. I met a kind-hearted man named Brian from my church. He was a teacher and coach at a local high school who had offered to tutor my sister Kelly with her studies. We married and welcomed 2 more children, Carter and Camille, into our family. I sensed a calling to learn how to support others through their losses and enrolled in classes on bereavement and childhood trauma. I learned about the Dougie Center in Portland, Oregon, the first grief center for children and families, which has inspired over 500 grief peer support programs for children and families worldwide. Then, in 2012, with a team of gifted professionals and volunteers, I helped launch Jessica's House, a grief center for children, teens, young adults, and parents in the Central Valley of California. Jessica's House has since supported thousands of children, teens, young adults, and parents through peer support and expressive arts. Then, in 2019, facing the unimaginable felt impossible when my younger son Carter was in a car accident. The child who brought me so much joy after a season of devastation took his last breath surrounded by our family in the hospital. As I felt his last heartbeat with my hand on his chest, I wondered how mine kept beating. I raged at God and doubted his goodness. Would our family survive another loss? Early one morning, I texted my friend, whose daughter had died several years earlier. I typed, "I'm falling into the darkness." She replied, "The darkness will hold you." And I remembered.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?